Augusta Ada King, Countess of Lovelace, born December 10th, 1815, passed November 27th, 1852. Damn, she almost made it to her birthday. She was an English mathematician and writer, chiefly known for her work on Charles Babbage's, shout out to somebody with the initial CB, proposed mechanical general purpose computer, the analytical engine. She was the first to recognize that the machine had applications beyond pure calculation. And I'm going to break it down in layman's terms in a minute. And to have published the first algorithm intended to be carried out by such a machine. As a result, Augusta Ada King is often regarded as the first motherfucking computer programmer. Bro, I didn't know this. How do we not know this? That's one of the biggest fucking jobs in the universe right now. Computer programming. We don't know that the mother of it, that it was a girl. It was a lady. It was a woman. Badass woman in Herstory. Ada Byron was the only child of a poet, Lord Byron and Lady Byron. All of Byron's other children were born out of wedlock to other women. Byron separated from his wife a month after Ada was born and left England forever 4 months later. He commemorated the parting in a poem that begins, "Is thy face like thy mother's, my fair child? Ada, sole daughter of my house and heart." He died in Greece when Ada was 8 years old. Her mother remained bitter, and promoted Ada's interest in mathematics and logic in an effort to prevent her from developing her father's perceived insanity. She didn't want her to get into poetry. And it just seemed like the dad was crazy, but he just happened to do poetry. Despite this, Ada remained interested in him, naming her two sons. If you try to keep your kid away from, they're gonna find their way. They're gonna be interested no matter what. So just be real. Just answer their questions. Don't be biased. They'll figure it out for themselves. Which one is fucked up? I was thinking why that tasted like green. I was just with my kinfolk right now smoking. And what's cool is when I see him, he said every time he sees me, he sees butterflies. Like that's the only time we saw a badass orange and black one, then we saw a yellow one. I mean, I'm not superstitious, but I believe like that's the angels, letting us know they're around, letting us know that communion, that smoke pipe session was blessed. Maybe that's one of my angels and one of his angels. I don't know. And then when I had my homeboy here in my backyard, there was a big, beautiful black butterfly that like almost touched his head and shit. It's hilarious. God is good. God is mysterious. The universe is mysterious. He'll talk to you if you're willing to. You gotta learn the language. And the language is numbers and animals and insects and Mother Nature but math as well. So she named her two sons Byron and Gordon. Upon her eventual death, she was buried next to her father at her request. Although often ill in her childhood, Ada pursued her studies, and I have no idea what this word means, assiduously. She married William King in 1835. King was made Earl of Lovelace in 1838, Ada thereby becoming Countess of Lovelace. Her educational and social exploits brought her into contact with scientists such as Andrew Cross, Charles Babbage, Sir David Brewster, Charles Wheatstone, Michael Faraday, and the only one I know on this list, author Charles Dickens. And these were all her contacts which she used to further her education. Ada described her approach as poetical science and herself as an analyst and metaphysician. When she was a teenager, so she put like the love that her mom put into her about math, but plus the infatuation she had with her dead father and his poetical insanity. And she put them together. When she was a teenager, her mathematical talents led her to a long working relationship and friendship with fellow British mathematician Charles Babbage, who was known as the father of computers. She was in particular interested in Babbage's work on the analytical engine. Lovelace first met him in June 1833 through their mutual friend and her private tutor, Mary Somerville. Between 1842 and 1843, Ada translated an article by Italian military engineer Luigi Menabrea on the calculating engine, supplementing it with an elaborate set of notes simply called Notes. Lovelace's notes are important in the early history of computers, containing what many consider to be the first computer program, that is, an algorithm designed to be carried out by a machine. Other historians reject this perspective and point out that Babbage's personal notes from the years 36 to 37 contain the first programs for the engine. Okay, first of all, y'all are some motherfucking haters. Let her get her credit. She also developed a vision of the capability of computers to go beyond mere calculating or number crunching, while many others, including Babbage himself, focused only on those capabilities. Her mindset of poetical science led her to ask questions about the analytical engine, as shown in her notes, examining how individuals and society relate to technology as a collaborative tool. She died of uterine cancer in 1852 at the age of 36, so young. Lord Byron expected his child to be a glorious boy and was disappointed when Lady Byron gave birth to a girl. The child was named after Byron's half-sister and was called Ada by Byron himself. On the 16th of January 1816, at Lord Byron's command, Lady Byron left for her parents' home at Kirkby Mallory, taking their 5-week-old daughter with her. Although English law at the time granted full custody of children to the father in case of separation, Lord Byron made no attempt to claim his parental rights, but did request that his sister keep him informed of Ada's welfare. That's a regular thing that these people used to do. They used to send their wife away. Because I feel like I either have deja vu or I remember another story where the husband sends his wife away with his sister in Louisiana. That's another badass woman of history, I think, but I can't remember who it was. So she didn't have a close relationship with her mom. She was often left in the care of her grandmom. But because of societal attitudes of the time, which favored the husband in any separation, with the welfare of any child acting as mitigation, Lady Byron had to present herself as a loving mother to the rest of society. This included writing anxious letters to Lady Milbank about her daughter's welfare, with the cover note saying that to retain the letters in case she had to use them to show maternal concern. In one letter to Lady Milbank, she referred to her daughter as it. I talk to it for your satisfaction, not my own, and shall be very glad when you have it under your own. Lady Byron had her teenage daughter watched by close friends for any sign of moral deviation. Lovelace dubbed these observers the Furies, and later complained they exaggerated and invented stories about her. Man, that sucks. Lovelace was often ill, probably because of the stress. Beginning early childhood. At the age of 8, she experienced headaches that obscured her vision. In June of 1829, she was paralyzed after a bout of measles. She was subjected to continuous bed rest for nearly a year, something which may have extended her period of disability. By 1831, she was able to walk with crutches. Despite the illnesses, she developed her mathematical and technological skills. Wow. God was really with this woman. When Ada was 12, this future lady fairy, as Charles Babbage affectionately called her, decided she wanted to fly. Ada Barron went about the project methodically, thoughtfully, with imagination and passion. Her first step in February 28 was to construct wings. She got all the things she needed. She examined the anatomy of birds. She wrote a book, Flyology, illustrating with plates some of her findings. She decided what she would need, like a compass. Yeah. Ada Byron had an affair with a tutor in early 1833. She tried to elope with him after she was caught, but the tutor's relatives recognized her and contacted her mother. Lady Byron and her friends covered the incident up to prevent a public scandal. Lovelace never met her younger half-sister, Allegra, the daughter of Lord Byron and Claire Claremont. What a name. Allegra died in 1822 at the age of 5. Lovelace did have some contact with Elizabeth Medora Leigh, the daughter of Byron's half-sister, Augusta Leigh, who purposely avoided Lovelace as much as possible when introduced at court. Damn, poor Ada Lovelace. She became close friends with her tutor, Mary Somerville, who introduced her to Charles Babbage in 1833. She had a strong respect and affection for Somerville, and they were corresponded for many years. Other acquaintances include those other scientists, Charles Dickens. She was presented at court at the age of 17 and became a popular belle of the season, in part because of her brilliant mind. By 1834, Ada was a regular at court. What does that mean, at court? And started attending various events. She danced often, was able to charm many people, and was described by most people as being dainty, although John Hobhouse, Byron's friend, described her as a large, coarse-skinned young woman with something of my friend's features, particularly mouth. This description followed their meeting on 24 February 1834, in which Ada made it clear to Hobhouse that she did not like him, probably due to her mother's influence, which led her to dislike all of her father's friends. The first impression was not to last, and they later became friends. On 8th of July, 35, she married William King, 8th Baron King. She married William, 8th Baron King, becoming Lady King. They had 3 homes. She came up. They had a Scottish estate, one in Surrey, and then one in London. They had a fucking honeymoon at a manor in Somerset. It became their retreat. Ballin'. They had 3 kids. Shout out to having kids. So let's see. How was she? She was probably better with her kids. Oh man, immediately after birth of Annabella, she became ill, which took months to cure. She became the Countess of Lovelace, like we said earlier. Okay, that's what I want to read. Ada's mother assigned William Benjamin Carpenter to teach Ada's children and to act as a moral instructor for Ada. He quickly fell for her and encouraged her to express any frustrated affections, claiming that his marriage meant he would never act in an unbecoming manner. When it became clear that Carpenter was trying to start an affair, Ada cut it off. Nice. She's like, man, I ain't trying to fuck this shit up, man. I got 3 kids, 3 houses, vacation home. Then she started getting into gambling. Yo, let's talk about something. I don't really understand this. In 1841, Lovelace and Medora Leigh, the daughter of Lord Byron's half-sister Augusta Leigh, were told by Ada's mother that Ada's father was also Medora's father. I don't get it. On the 27th, Ada wrote to her mother, I am not in the least astonished. In fact, you merely confirmed that what I have for years and years felt scarcely a doubt about. But should I have considered it most improper in me to hint to you that I in any way suspected. She had not blamed the incestuous relationship on Byron, but instead blamed Augusta Leigh. I fear she is more inherently wicked than he ever was. In the 1840s, Ada flirted with scandals. Firstly, from a relaxed approach to extramarital relationships with men, leading to rumors of scandals of affairs. And secondly, from her love of gambling. She apparently, and we're all human, man. All human. men and women. She apparently lost more than 3,000 euros on the horses during the later 1840s. It's not that much. The gammon led to her forming a syndicate with male friends in an ambitious attempt in 1851 to create a mathematical model for successful large bets. This went disastrously wrong, leaving her thousands of pounds in debt to the syndicate, forcing to admit it all to her husband. She had a shadowy relationship with Andrew Cross's son, John, from 1844 onwards. John Cross destroyed most of their correspondence after her death as part of a legal agreement. She bequeathed him the only heirlooms her father had personally left to her. During her final illness, she would panic at the idea of her younger Cross being kept from visiting her. Damn. So her education, when she was 17, her mathematical abilities began to emerge, and they dominated the majority of her adult life. Her mother's obsession with rooting out any of the insanity which she accused Byron was one of the reasons that Ada was taught mathematics from an early age, like we said earlier. Who's De Morgan? Is that her teacher? In the 1840s, the mathematician Auguste de Morgan extended her much help in her mathematical studies, including study of advanced calculus topics, including the numbers of Bernoulli that formed her celebrated algorithm. So the numbers of Bernoulli that formed her celebrated algorithm for Babbage's analytical engine. In a letter to Lady Byron, de Morgan suggested that Ada's skill in mathematics might lead her to become an original mathematical investigator, perhaps of first-rate eminence. And he was right. A lot of times geniuses are not, nobody's perfect. And sometimes geniuses are extreme in their fuck-ups and they're extreme in their achievements. That's just the truth. But for her to be the first computer engineer, no, what was it? Sorry, guys. Smoking. Man, and I be joking. The first, computer programmer. I think that's what it said. She lost contact with her husband after confessing something to him on the 30th of August, which caused him to abandon her bedside. It's not known what she told him. Throughout her life, Lovelace was strongly interested in scientific developments and fads of the day, including phrenology and mesmerism. I wonder what those are. Later on, in 1844, she commented to a friend about her desire to create a mathematical model for how the brain gives rise to thoughts and nerves to feelings. A calculus of the nervous system. She never achieved this, however. In part, her interest in the brain came from a long-running preoccupation inherited from her mother about her potential madness. As part of her research into this project, she visited the electrical engineer Andrew Cross in 1844 to learn how to carry out electrical experiments. In the same year, she wrote a review of paper by Baron. Man, speaking of that, my cousin was telling me that he had, what's that shit called? Acupuncture, and they give you like a little electric currents too. Whew, crazy. The year before she got cancer, she wrote to her mom mentioning certain productions she was working on regarding the relation of math and music. She wrote a review of a paper by Baron Carl von Reichenbach, researches on magnetism, but it was not published and is not near to, and does not appear to have progressed the first draft. I feel you, Lovelace. There you go. Ooh, no G. What is no G? What says that Lovelace dismisses artificial intelligence. She wrote that the analytical engine has no pretensions whatever to originate anything. It can do whatever we know how to order it to perform. It can follow analysis, but it has no power of anticipating any analytical relations or truths. This objection has been the subject of much debate and rebuttal. For example, by Alan Turing in his paper, computing machinery and intelligence. Interesting. So now that shit, we got Elon Musk now. It's just fucking, you never know. So Lovelace and Babbage had a minor falling out when the papers were published. When he tried to leave his own statement criticizing the government's treatment of his engine as an unsigned preface, which could have been mistakenly interpreted as a joint declaration. Babbage wrote to Lovelace asking her to withdraw the paper. His actions suggested as long as the asset sought in the environment, so I can indulge her because of her celebrated name. The friendship recovered and they continued to correspond. When she was dying of cancer, Lovelace wrote to him to be her executor, although this letter did not give him the necessary legal authority. Damn. Interesting. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else interesting? I don't think so. So, hater alert. Though Lovelace is often referred to as the first computer programmer, some biographers, computer scientists, and historians of computing claim otherwise. Fuck the haters. Fuck the haters, baby makers. They don't want the money shakers. That is